वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। सरस्वती नमो नित्यं भद्रकाल्यै नमो नमः। वेद वेदांत वेदांग विद्यास्थानेभ्य एव च सरस्वती महाभागे विद्ये कमललोचने विद्यारूपे विशालाक्षी विद्यां देहि नमोस्तुते। यदक्षरं पदं भ्रष्टं मात्रहीनं च यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवी प्रसीद परमेश्वरी। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। So today we meet for the second topic under chapter 2 of the second Dashaka. We look at the second Samas, as they call it, the second topic. The first was on Murkha, on the Lakshana, the signs of a fool, Murkha, Manus. So these are things that one needs to avoid. One should read, reflect, see if it applies to oneself. Then if you are able to see it, that is 50% resolved actually, that I am making this mistake. And then we should try and really remove it from our system itself. To recognize it is difficult. Therefore, if we have satsang, if we have people who would able to point out, when we have friends, they have to be, it is nice if they can be honest and tell us of our shortcomings also. And the more a person is spiritually evolving, he prefers to keep the company of such people who will point out these mistakes rather than keep friends who will only boost his ego, so that you can make the necessary correction and move on. Now this chapter, Swami Samartha, he's talking of the signs of good qualities. So the don'ts have happened before. We must try and avoid. And this what he is speaking, Uttama Lakshan, that one should imbibe, because this quality in a person helps him become knowledgeable. And knowledge of what? You need the knowledge of the subtlest kind. It is Atman, which is all pervading, it is invisible, it is to be grasped through this intellect. This intellect has to be pure. When we say pure, then these are the signs that we will show. If this is the Lakshana, this is the outside, conduct and behavior, and that will show. This is a manifestation of the thought process itself. So somebody that when Swami Samarth Ramdas says good quality. What is good? I mean, he's not talking of good boy, bad boy, nothing like that. That's, at a very, very basic level. When he says good, he says these are the lakshanas of that uttama seeker with tivra mumukshatva. So we need to develop this, we need to cultivate this. Goodness is how soon we will be able to see the truth for ourselves. And if somebody is called bad, it is not like psychological bad. It is one who is far away from the truth. We should be clear of this. So good and bad is not like in school, teachers tell, are you a good boy? Are you a good child? When they are simply have to be obedient over there, then they become good automatically. That's not the kind of goodness we are talking about here. Goodness is one who will be able to see the truth easily, who's ready, who's prepared. तो अब देखते हैं what Swami Samarth Ramdas has to tell about this. समास दूसरा उत्तम लक्षण श्री राम श्रोतां वावे सावधान आता सांगतो उत्तम गुण जेणे करिता बाणे खुण सर्वज्ञपणाची वाट कुसल्या विण जाऊ नये फळ वोळकेल्या विण खाऊ नये पडिली वस्तू घेऊ नये एकोएकी अतिवाद करू नये पोटी कपट धरू नये शोधल्या विण करू नये कुळहीन कांता विचारे विण बोलो नये विवंचने विण चालो नये मर्यादे विण हालो नये काही एक प्रीती विण रुसो नये चोराच वोळकी पुसो नये रात्री पंत क्रमो नये एकाएकी जणी आर्जव तोडू नये पाप द्रव्य जोडू नये पुण्य मार्ग सोडू नये कदाकाळी निंदा द्वेष करू नये असत्संग धरू नये द्रव्य दारा हरू नये बळात्कार वक्त यास खोंदू नये एकीयतेसी फोडू नये विद्या अभ्यास सोडू नये काही केले तोंडाळासी भांडो नये वाचाळासी तंडो नये सत्संग खंडू नये अंतर्यामी अति क्रोध करू नये जीव लगांस खेंदू नये मनी वोट मानू नये शिकवणीच्या we will see up to the 10th. Okay? We will take up the English translation of this. The first one, the listeners may please be savadhan, alert. Ata santo, I am now telling about the good signs or good qualities by developing which one becomes knowledgeable. Knowledgeable. This knowledge is about Atma Jnana. This knowledge is about the divine. It is not knowledge about the world. So things that are of the world are visible, can be heard, can be felt, is known through the senses and the mind. For that kind of knowledge, this criteria does not apply. When you go to the engineering college or law or medicine or any of these professional courses, they give you an entrance exam and you just have to prepare for it. Nobody asks you, what is the quality of your brain? What is, what are the things you give importance? It is emotional intelligence, spiritual quotient ho, maybe now they are opening to that, but it doesn't matter at all. So for that kind of knowledge, we are not talking of this criteria. This criteria, this qualification is for those who want to be knowledgeable about the Atman, about self. So by developing these qualities, one becomes knowledgeable, jnani he becomes. One should not go anywhere without properly asking directions of the road. Understand, obviously, Swami Samarth at that time did not have GPS and all that. Today, the people get out immediately. They say, start location, but even then, we are asking for directions, isn't it? That's the smartest thing to do. Do not go just blindly. So he says, don't go without properly asking directions of the road. One should not eat any fruit without recognizing its properties. Jungle trails, you go and you are saying, oh, this fruit looks good. This leaf smells good. So let me touch it. You know, there are many, many plants. If you take a walk through the woods and jungles, you're not supposed to touch them. Even when you're walking on the roads, just see them. But until you don't know what kind of plant it is, do not touch it. There are many poisonous plants in the forest, many thorny ones. Many things might, inject some kind of liquid within your system also. So these are things that have happened to people who have gone. So it's very, very necessary. Also, okay, we are not ones who go into the jungle and all. We are very city people. Um, don't eat things without knowing its gunas. It's very important here because this chapter we are dealing with the gunas. So I remember there was one sannyasi who had come to our ashram for bhojan food, and he was served one kind of payasam. It's a kheer made out of chana dal and gur. And he had never tasted it before, and so he refused to eat it. He said, नहीं ये इसके गुण मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं पता. I don't know what this is. So he was we were surprised. He wasn't even willing to try it. But he said, see, I am traveling and I am on a work. I have got to go for satsang in the evening, and then tomorrow also I am busy. So when you are having a busy day, do not try foods that do not suit you. Simple. But more and more we find these days under the name of being what is very popular. Everyone wants to show their what do you say? We are foodies. We want to, eat, try everything, go out to a foreign land and I want to try their food. They boast about these things. One must be careful. This is what, this is Buddhimani. This is for one who is seeking that knowledge. Now, if you are going to other countries for experiencing different things, that is a different. But here we are talking of that one who wants to be knowledgeable. So one should not eat any fruit without recognizing its property, means eat anything for that matter without knowing its guna. And one should not hastily pick up anything lying about. Looks like some children we tell, do not pick up this. Very often we don't realize as adults we do these things. One should not argue endlessly. When you know that either you have no chance to win in this argument or the other person is not listening, therefore one should not continue. One must stop, not go on explaining, defending, and simply arguing till they have the final word. There are some people who will go on until you say, okay, you win. Then they are happy. So he says, one should not argue endlessly. So if one is doing this, one should recognize you are far from the truth, far from even knowing the truth. One should not have malice in one's mind. Not having malice in one's mind विवंचने विना चालो नये, मर्यादे विना आलो नये, काही एक विचारे विना बोलो नये. Then he says one should not speak without thinking. One should no, isn't go on, and that is the third point. No, vichare vina bolu naye. Before that is shodalya vina karu naye, pudahina ka. One should not marry any girl without thorough inquiry about her family background. Maybe those days, time and age, therefore he says, don't marry a girl without understanding. It applies both ways. Without knowing the proper background, we see there are many people who are in such a hurry, especially when children are growing up. And if they are in some other country or something that is happening these days, there is great haste in somehow getting them settled without proper inquiry. It happens even today. It's not new at all. So he says one should not marry a girl without proper inquiry about the family background. Then one should not speak without thinking. This is what vichare vina bolu naye. Tivra mumukshu will wait, watch. Is this needed to be spoken? And he will think and then speak. And when he speaks, it will be to the point, very precise, clearly and completely will convey. Not that he begins somewhere and says, not this, I was trying to say that, and then continue. Sometimes, you ask somebody, so how was this? How did you land? Was it an easy journey? They will start their history from the time they booked the ticket and how difficult it was to get it. Hey, I'm not asking about all that. Was it okay? Smooth? The trip was okay? You know? So they will go on about, they have to give you the entire history. Not required. Such a person is talkative, can't control. No? So this person is a person of few words. Exactly will convey what is asked and very clear. That clarity one should seek to have all the time. So not to speak without thinking. One should not do anything without considering its propriety, whether it is proper, whether it's the right thing to do. One should not act in a way without giving proper thought to the rules of conduct. Am I required to speak here? And even if I am allowed, is it the right way to say? When there are in Taittiriya Upanishad, the convocation address, the Guru tells the students who are graduating from the class. When there is an expert, when there is an elderly person, when there is a person who knows better, more knowledgeable than you must allow that person to speak and you should not talk. And even if you have to say something, you may request permission. May I say that I also heard about this? If you have some information which the other person may not have, that can happen. I would just like to add that this is what I heard, if I may say so. There is a way to speak, not just refute or challenge or, say more than what is required. All these are lakshanas one has to be very careful about. Then the fifth one, he says, one should not be sulky unless one has love in one's heart. Huh? Preeti vina ruso nahi. So you can be upset, but that has to be because of lot of love in your heart. And when there is a lot of love, of course, there is going to be forgiving also. No, what he means is it can be playful. It cannot be, you cannot hold that malice and you cannot hold grudge in your heart against somebody for too long. Right? You may shout, you may get angry. Why did you do this? I didn't like what you did. La la la. And then you, saints are like that. They immediately forget, and the next moment everything is forgotten and everything is good. So this way, because of love in your heart, you could be upset with somebody or you could sulk, not otherwise. So he says, one should not be sulky. One should not ask questions about acquaintances to a robber, to any thief or anybody who is untrustworthy, or one who has bad intentions. His intentions are not correct. There is no need actually to even be talking to such a person. One should not travel at night alone or without proper precautions. These are things one must take care. Some people get foolhardy also sometimes, want to do many, I am a spiritual seeker and I know nothing will happen without, if God doesn't want me to, it will not happen. And they go and fall into the ditch very often. So thoughtlessly one cannot go. You will have to pay for it. Then he says, one should not be curt and break good relations. Do not speak in a way with a harsh tone, or some people, they talk very harsh, very rudely, sometimes insultingly also. And they say, I like to be frank. I am frank with people. It's not being, and they think they are doing a right thing, but they are not this way with all. They can only be this way with the ones whom they have control over. Then understand that this is not being frank. This is just being rude. So one should not be curt and break good relation. One should not earn money through sin. This is absolutely banned for a spiritual seeker. There should be no, which way do you earn your money is also very, very important. One should not deviate from the path of virtue at any time. Punya marga sodu naye kada kali, at any point of time. Remember that. This remembrance, this going back to, am I doing the right thing? That is very important. One should keep on. When we do things, we should do it because that's the right thing to be done, not because it is such a wonderful thing to do. My heart goes out, my feelings are like that, my emotions are like this, I'm very sentimental towards something. That's not the way. When we don't know, we must ask them, which is the way to go. So one should not deviate from the path of virtue at any time. Seventh one should not blame or hate anyone, should not have bad company, and should not by force take away others' money or wife. This is one of the 10 commandments also by Jesus. Do not covet another person's money or wife. Do not covet anybody else's money, possession, things, whatever it is, their relationship, not only wife, husband, even friends. Let's not do it. And no blaming, no hating anybody. Then one should not contradict the speaker while he is speaking. One should not break the unity. One should not neglect or leave studies under any circumstance. So studies is what studies? Whatever that is, if it's in a secular knowledge and if you're a student, yes, very good. At any circumstances, don't stop that. Definitely on the path of spirituality, what the Shastra says, keep reading, never drop that. That's important. Then one should not quarrel with a man who abuses everyone. Obviously, one should not do it. If he is, these days even that's very, very, not commonplace, I would say fashionable, right? I have seen people using slang words, some are not, it is not good language that they use, but it is very, very fashionable. It's trendy. So they will encourage each other, motivate, and they say, oh, you're not, really, you're so outdated if you're not talking that. So this one must avoid. If you're a spiritual seeker, avoid this kind of a thing and don't uh, engage in something like this. One should not argue with any over talkative person. If there is a talkative person who likes to go on talking, they like to keep on saying things, where they went, what happened, this was their experience, that was their experience, this they did. For hours together, they can chit chat on the phone. First of all, don't do it yourself. And if you have somebody who is doing that, do not. You just be very straightforward and let them know that you cannot engage in that kind of talk. So one should, and don't argue with them definitely, because you land into a lot of trouble. One should not lose love of saints from one's heart. This is forewarning almost for most of us. Forewarning why? Because when there is a saint, and if we have something grudge against that saint, Sant Mahatmas are there, we have had a bad experience with one Sant Mahatma, or let us not lose love. We should hold that, ki bhai, I am not understanding something right now, but maybe he has a point there, which I will see tomorrow. We must allow that benefit of doubt for a saint at any given point. Why should we do this? It doesn't make any logical sense. No, it's not going to make logical sense. If you want to be knowing the truth about who you are, that is beyond logic. So you have to grow with these virtues here. Then the 10th one must not be over angry. One should not disturb or trouble one's dear friends. And if somebody teaches, one should not get annoyed. People don't like to be told anything that you're doing right or wrong. People like to tell others. Most of the time, we get into this mode. We don't like to hear anybody correcting us or teaching us something. We prefer that we teach, but we never want to learn. This attitude will never get us anywhere. At every point, we must be ready to learn. This is very important. If we are this way, then we are closer to seeing the truth. So now after the 10th verse, from the 11th to the 20th, we shall read. Kshana kshana ruso naye, latika purushartha bolo naye, kelya vina sango naye, apla parakramo. Bolila bol visro naye, prasangi samarthya chupo naye, kelya vina nikhandu naye, pudilansi kala. आळसे सुख मानू नये, चाहाणी मनास आणू नये, शोधिलो आवीण करू नये कार्य काही, सुखा अंग घेऊ नये, प्रयत्न पुरुषे सांडू नये, कष्ट करिता त्रासो नये निरंतर, सभेमध्ये लागो नये, बाष्कळपणे बोलो नये, पैज होड घालू नये, काही केल्या, बहुत चिंता करू नये, निस्सुगपणे राहू नये, परस्त्री ते पाहू नये, पाप बुद्धी, कोणाचा उपकार घेऊ नये, घेतला तरी राखो नये, परपीडा करू नये, विश्वासघात, शोचे विना असो नये, मळीन वस्त्र नसो नये, जना रास पुसो नये, कोठे जातोस म्हणून, व्यापकपणा सांडू नये, पराधीन होऊ नये, आपले ओझे घालू नये, कोणी ये कास. पत्रे विण पर्वत करू नये, हिनाचे ऋण घेऊ नये, गोही विण जाऊ नये राजद्वारा. So here says one should not always be sulky, should not boast with empty words. And if somebody teaches and should not tell about one's achievement without actually being successful. Do not be sulky. There are, I know of not only single people, there are families who prefer to be sulking all the time. That things are not going okay, things are not going their way. And you will think, looking at them, that there must be a pahad tuta hua, there will be a big calamity in this house. But when you find out it was nothing, but they like to sulk and seek people's attention. True seeker doesn't want attention on himself at all. In fact, he is ready to simply disappear wherever he is. Because that sense of, being there as an ego hurts him. But people who are egoistic love attention on them. So they are constantly seeking that attention also by doing things, by being seen, and So when you sulk and when you complain, you definitely get a lot of attention. So that is not the way to be. Also, should not boast with empty words. There are people who do some things and they may do one thing, but the amount they will speak about that one thing done, you will think lot has been done. नहीं क्या बोलते उसको? 4 आना मुर्गी 12 आना मसाला. मतलब कुछ निकलता ही नहीं फिर उसके बारे में. यू आर थिंकिंग ओ इतना सारा, फिर देखते हैं क्या बोल रहा था वो. अच्छा इतना ये किया ना, बट वही ये तो रोज ही करते हैं, या तो रोज ये तो आराम आराम से हो जाता, फिर इसके बारे में इतना. Then you must understand that person must be so incapable that he thinks even doing this much has done, so much has been achieved. So you should recognize that he is incapable of doing something. Therefore, probably needs this kind of boasting, this kind of attitude that is. So do not boast about anything. A true seeker doesn't even count on his own achievements. He does it and neki kar darya mein dal bolte hain. It's just that. Does it and he's forgotten. Does it and he's forgotten. And he's constantly in the present moment. So working towards that. And should not tell about one's achievements without actually being successful. हाँ. अभी शुरू भी नहीं किया, काम खत्म भी नहीं हुआ, but I have already started boasting. So that is not a good lakshana. Then one should not forget what one has taught. And in critical time, one should not miss the opportunity to prove one's words. At the right time, you should be able to do things and prove yourself rather than simply boasting about what you could do and what you have done. Because slowly, sometime or the other, you are caught. People know. When it was needed, we didn't hear from that person. That person was lacking. He didn't do it. But he keeps boasting that he could have done so much. One should not criticize others when oneself is not able to do anything. Whether we can do or no, how Sachin Tendulkar should have batted, how, not Sachin, no, Virat Kohli. Arey, he should have done this, he should have done that. I'm telling you, the captain doesn't know what he is doing. The bowler doesn't know what he is doing. Can you go and bowl, please? Can you go there and bat? So, do not criticize. Somebody is doing, and if you think it is impossible, do not disturb them at least. You stay away from it. Don't do it. Nobody is asking you to. but don't stop the other person from doing it. This is a great characteristic in many, many people. Huh? They will tell you how you should avoid and why you should avoid, simply because they are incapable of doing it. They see it from their point of view only. Be careful about such people also. One should not feel happy in laziness. Laziness and happiness go together so beautifully, no? We all dream of a lazy Sunday, lazy morning. See, once in a while, it's okay. For a mumukshu, huh, laziness is out of his vocabulary. For one who is seeking the truth, he has to be absolutely enthusiastic about everything and ready, available. These are words which a lazy person will not know, or doesn't even want to hear first of all. Ready and हो जाएगा, देखा जाएगा, कर लेंगे, कहाँ जाए, कौन, that is, don't and one should not value evil gossip, and one should not do anything without properly understanding it by thorough inquiry. Huh? Because ये बोल देते हैं सात्विक पना is enthusiastic and going ready to do, don't get to doing just to prove you're sattvic. Some people will, at the moment you have said something, they are already dashing to do without understanding what has to be done. Then you say, what happened? Why are you doing this? No, you said, I didn't understand exactly what. Then why did you rush to do it? No, I'm sattvic, no. Every time one has to be very alert. One should not be attached to bodily comfort. Very difficult to explain this to an urban citizen. Wherever he is, city life drives him this way. He seeks for bodily comfort wherever he is. Is it comfortable? Is it convenient to get there? Conveniences and comforts are what they look for all the time. Therefore, they have to go on an adventure to do something different. Hill climbing, rock climbing, all that. And you find villagers who are there, their daily life is rock climbing and hill climbing. They have no such conveniences and have very good health. See? So one should not be attached to bodily comfort. Every time, do not think of giving comfort to the body. One should never leave efforts and should not be irritated by suffering. Very beautiful message. One should never leave efforts. If something is gained by effort, our mind immediately says, "Arey, drop it. कौन कितना करेगा? नहीं कर." Bodily comfort. है ना? So little effort. Put in a little effort and do this. Nobody likes. That is why you find whether I'm seeing more and more, no? Be it a cookery show, be it any other show also these days, everyone who guides you will tell you this can happen very easily. This can happen in 2 minutes. This is hardly anything. This is so easy doing this. Why do they want you to be easy and 2 minutes and fast? Because they know that will sell. People will buy it. The moment you say, no, this takes 2 days to make, because the process starts from your soaking. I don't. Some effort? No. Nobody likes it. It's more now than relevant today, I think. Then he says, and one should not be irritated by suffering. Any suffering comes your way, don't say, why me? Why this irritated? I cannot bear this. This is not fair. This is injustice. I don't believe in any God. There is nothing. I'm suffering. These are not the words that need to be used. I'm going through suffering. Yes, this is a very bad phase now. One challenge after the other. Difficulties are coming my way. It's okay. Accept it and then respond to it. Because nobody is suffering more than anybody else in this world. Everyone has their due share of suffering. It just differs at what time one goes through and what time another goes through. One should never be bashful in any public meeting, should not babble loosely, and never should swear or challenge. Not be bashful in any public meeting. If you have a public meeting, you have agreed to go there and you are ready to speak, then one should not, he says, do not be shy into putting your point of view across and should not babble loosely. Babbling is already loose talk only. So you do not go on babbling something without understanding. Sometimes, this is also a karma. Karma, I mean, mechanically people do many things, no? So they do not understand. They are constantly babbling, not lakshana of a seeker. And never should swear or challenge. Do not challenge anybody to anything. One should not worry too much, nor be lazy not doing anything. And one should not stare at others' wives with lust. One should not worry too much, no chinta. Do chintanam. Chintanam in Sanskritam means doing mananam, reflect, contemplate. But don't worry. Worry doesn't get you anywhere. Worry shows you're too attached with a particular consequence or you want a particular result coming, or that you have too many attachments with people, with situations. Therefore, you're worried. So that is not right thinking. If somebody is worried, you must tell yourself that you are thinking in the wrong direction. So there is no need to justify somebody worrying also. This is another thing. I'm not worried, but she is so worried. No, I am concerned about her. If she is worried, you should understand that it is not the lakshana of a good quality or one who is seeking knowledge. It is absolutely not allowed. People like to show that they are very worried. They are, always a worrying person for whatever reasons. One should not be under obligations of anybody. Not to stare at others' lives with lust. Self-explanatory. Do not fall for it. In fact, if if men do find themselves so attractive, think of what Bhagavan Shankara has told his disciples. Very beautiful. That applies to both the sexes, huh? Male or female. If you find yourself attracted this way to some very attractive, appealing, handsome, beautiful person, uh, Bhagavan Shankara used to tell his disciples, understand, look at the skin and whatever is inside the skin, try and look at it. And then you will not like it because what's going to be inside the body? All that flesh and blood oozing, the muscles, the nerves, and all that other dirty things that are inside the body. You says, start imagining the intestines inside the stomach. Think of the stomach. You will not like any of that. When you can imagine this, you try and imagine that also, and you will find such disgust. It will be balanced. All your infatuation and attraction will come down. So remember this. This is an important thing. If we look at it, what is inside the skin is the same in every body. Lot of blood, Chinmayanji would say that 8 liters of blood may come out, some kilos of flesh will come out, some bones will come out, and is this what you're attracted to? After all, finally, that the skin and the body is just a beautiful package of all this meat and blood, isn't it? Then, 17th one should not be under obligation. This is very important. And if one has to take help, one should return the favor. I see people, very often I see this. Somebody is coming this way, so therefore tell that person to do some favor for them. Somebody is going somewhere, immediately ask that person, will you be able to carry this for me? Will you be able to deliver this for me? Easily they ask for favors. They do not mind. One should not do this on the path of spirituality. Don't, until there is an emergency. There could always be an emergency. There could always be a case where it's so much better that that person, does this job for you. So that could be a rare case. No, it can't happen every day. Every day this way asking for favors, is not a good sign. So even if you have to take help, please return the favor without forgetting. One should not trouble others or betray them. Never betray anybody. One should do not remain unclean. You should be clean. This is very, very important. And should not wear shabby clothes. Always to be presentable. You should not wear shabby clothes and present yourself in a shabby manner. That is not sattvic at all. Because when we say Bhadram Karnevi Shrunyamadeva Bhadram Pashye Maksham, we want to see things which are auspicious. We must be able to show ourselves also. We are not attached to the body. It doesn't come with obsession with the body. But being presentable is an obligation to society. You cannot dress shabbily and go in front of it. See, I mean, he has even mentioned this. That means people do this, isn't it? People must be doing this. Thinking that it is okay to be dressed this way. So what? I am only at home. To such an extent, they are carrying what is called to be casual, that casual look. They, even if they are in the station or airport, they look like they're sleeping in their bedrooms. This is not the way to be. It's more fashionable today, isn't it? To look like that, to pretend that, I'm very much at home and comfortable. But look what saints have to say about it. So one should be clean, one should not look shabby, one should not ask, where are you going, to anyone who is going. Very often as they set out, we say, na, kahan ja rahe ho? Do not ask. Nowadays it has come down, but even some years ago, people, because we are on the mobile, isn't it? When they call, they will say, where are you? Why do you want to know? I am already talking to you on the phone. You just tell whatever it is that needs to be spoken, isn't it? So, people have to learn these things. Pick up, and this is the way they question you. And sometimes you have called the other person. When you have made a call, they remember that they have to tell you a lot of things. So they start telling, I wanted to tell you this, and they start speaking to you. And you wonder, I called you and I have called you for some reason. This is not the time that you can take your time and speak to me about whatever it is that you want. You have to first listen to what I have to say, because I called you, isn't it? This much etiquette, ma, I'm telling you, educated people, so-called, don't have. They will be babbling of that's it. Yes, you had called. What is it? After half an hour of listening to you, if you wanted to say all that, you should have called. Isn't it? One should be very alert and aware. Then one should not lose the broader view of things. One should not be dependent. One should not put one's burden in the matter of food and clothes, shelter, or money on others. So one should not lose the broader view of things. Don't always nitpick and only have a view, a narrow view of anything. Why he said, why I said, this is not important. The broader sense, does it make any meaning? And can you let go of things? This should be our sense of, when we think of growing, then we have to be able to expand our horizons also. One should not be dependent. Today, more and more city people again, very dependent on the help that we get from our maids, our drivers, our security, our whatever else. If they do not come, work doesn't get done it. That is how dependent we are. We promise something and then we say, my maid didn't come, so I can't commit, I can't come. We are ready to break commitments, betray people. Why? Because we are so dependent on this help. This is happening. Every day I see this. And I always feel, how can you allow another person to drive your day? Which is exactly what's happening. If a maid doesn't come, your plans are changed, means anything can happen to you today. How vulnerable you are, and you have put yourself in that position. If the driver doesn't come, I can't go out. Why not? Is it that dependent that you are? A driver is there and wonderful, he will drive the car. But it is not that you cannot set out and go on your own also, and one must do that. Therefore, don't be dependent, and one should not put one's burden on anybody in matter of roti, kapra, makhan, or money. One should not have transactions without proper documents. One should not take loan from a loafer, and one should not go to government authorities without proper papers or witnesses. Even if we have too much work today, these admin work, how when banks ask for all these documents and people, be it for your passport or be it your Aadhaar or be it anything, I know how people complain about them. We want all security, but we do not want to go and cooperate with them when they ask for all these things. Why are they asking for this? Why are they asking for that? And when something we get this, we are upset. They should have taken proper blame. Easy to blame them. So do not go to government authorities without proper papers or witnesses. Should not have transactions without proper documents. Many people are willing to take that risk. Bhagwan ke upar chhod diya. If it has to happen, it will happen. If not, so hence, it is not sattvic. One should not take loan from a loafer. So with this, we go on to the 21st verse in of the Marathi, but we have very little time. Let's at least read the verses. लटिके जाऊ घेऊ नये सभेस लटिके करू नये आधर नसता बोलू नये स्वाभाविक आधक आधकपणे करू नये अन्याये विण गांजू नये गावनी तीने वतो नये आंग बळे बहुत अन्न खाऊ नये बहुत निद्रा करू नये बहुत दिवस राहू नये पिसुणाचे आपल्याची गोही देऊ नये आपली कीर्ती वर्णू नये आपले आपण हसू नये गोष्टी सांगू धूम्रपान घेऊ नये उन्मत्त द्रव्य सेवू नये बहुचकाची करू नये मैत्री करा कामे विण राहू नये नीच उत्तर साहू नये आसुदे अन्न सेवू नये वडिलांचे तोंडी सिरी असो नये दुसऱ्याच देखोण हसू नये उणे अंगी संचारू नये कुळवंताचे देखिली वस्तू चोरू नये बहुत कृपण होऊ नये, जीवलंगासी करू नये, कळह कदा, एकाचा घात करू नये, लटकी गोही देऊ नये, अप्रमाण वर्तो नये कधा काळी, चहाडी चोरी धरू नये, परद्वार करू नये, मागे उणे बोलू नये कोणी एकाचे. So up to the 30th verse, we shall just see the 21st in English. One should not take sides of false claims. One should not contradict majority opinion in any meeting. And one should never talk disrespectfully. So if there is a sattvic person, he will never take sides of false claims, knowing that this person is actually not speaking the truth, but you are taking his side for whatever reason. You think it is worthwhile, or it is out of compassion, according to you, according to your idea. But if it's a false claim, then and you're siding, then that is wrong. One should not contradict majority opinion in any meeting. If you're in a meeting and there are 10 people who agree on something, and only you are the one who's not able to see it among the group of 12, still continue to contradict. Murkhacha lakshan actually that. So he says, do not do it. So if there are 4 people, 3 are anyway telling this way, right? Don't be the one to say left. And one should never talk disrespect. One should not feel jealous when one sees the riches, etc. of others. Do not allow for jealousy to come in. Jealousy is always with one whom you think is your equal. You always are jealous about such a person. Somebody who's your equal gets a lot more attention, gets a lot of appreciation. One automatically is jealous. Watch yourself. Find out, is this really happening to me? Wipe this jealousy out of your heart. So one should not feel jealous when one sees the riches, etc. of others. One should not punish anybody when he has not done anything wrong. You think he has done wrong, he has and deserves punishment, so you have punished. But if you have come to know that he has not, then you must apologize and make up. But if he has truly not done and you think, you knowingly, you decide to punish him, then that is not sattvic. And one should not behave unjustly by being proud of physical strength. So don't get, just because you have physical strength, you may have the power, you may have the wealth to do, so you become unjust. One should not overeat, nor should one sleep much. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says this very clear. And one should not go to reside in the house of a man who is known to be a bad person. So don't go and spend time with such a person or stay over at that person's home. One should not give guarantee blindly for relatives. Remember, but should verify the truth. One should not praise oneself. Praising oneself. People think, if in fact your actions must speak for itself. So when people say, no, how will he know how I acted in my workplace? I have to only tell him. There's no need to do this thing. Your actions will speak for itself. People watch your actions, not what you speak. But there are many people who like to show off so much. Vain, that is vanity. And one should not oneself laugh while telling stories. Then one should not smoke, dhumrapan. One should not take intoxicating drugs. And one should not be friendly with over talkative people. Again and again, there is a lot about talkative people. Talkative people, some people suffer from this. It is like they can't control their tongue and the mind just goes on chattering and they have to express all that chatter unnecessary. So don't be friendly with such people also. One should not smoke, take intoxicating drinks. For a person on the spiritual path, these things are not required. It leads to addiction, and it doesn't give you, it may be very fashionable to do, but it's not the right thing. One should not remain idle without any work. People don't mind that very often. They are without any work and they are okay with it. One should not tolerate insults. One should not take food even from elderly people if it is not pure and clean. The food is not clean, you should not eat it, even if it is from respected elders that comes here. One should never have a bad habit of using abusive language. One should not ridicule others, and one should not brood over little defaults of really noble people, men. So there are noblemen, there are saints, but what we do is when they are so good, we look at one small default, one small mistake, and we say, how could he make that mistake? And we ponder over it like anything. He is capable of so much goodness. We do not speak about that. Very often we do this. So, and we must not keep on thinking about it. If it is done by a saintly person, by a noble person, we must just forget about it and keep thinking of all the good. Why? That will do only good to us. But if you're brooding on a small mistake by a saint, that's not going to help you in any way. It will take you into the wrong direction all the time. So no brooding about this. One should not steal any article seen lying about. One should not be too miserly, and one should not quarrel amongst one's own dear people. If somebody is very dear to you, don't keep quarreling with them. Don't steal. Do not lift things. Do not demand things. May I use this? May I take this? Little people, children do this, when they go because they have not learned to differentiate between one and the other. They are so full of desire and they want it when they see. Human adults act like this sometimes. The moment they see something, may I use this? May I take this? It is not a sattvic quality. One should not deceive or destroy anybody. One should not give false evidence. One should not behave irrationally at any time. So, not to give false evidence, not to support somebody who is giving false evidence also, false statements. Do not deceive anybody knowingly. No? Very often people are this ego is very deceitful. It wants to protect itself. So, knowingly, we will keep away from the truth, or we will not tell the truth completely because we don't want to be seen in a wrong, way. So, to protect ourselves, we will project all the nice things only. This way, one can only deceive oneself. He will not get further in the journey. One should not behave irrationally at any minute. No gossip should be done. No robbery should be done. Gossip? Yes. Watch yourself. When somebody is there in power or is getting closer to boss or anybody, whether you want to suddenly go and please that person, speak very nicely to that person, or get more gossip. You meet somebody and you find that he is capable of giving you more news about the person. Is it required? Such people are very devious. who look for gossip, look for loose talk from people. Very devious mind. One should not be entangled with others' wife and should not criticize anybody by backbiting. If you have the power, the courage to go and tell a person about what you think is not right or is wrong with the person, do it up front in front of that person. Do not go behind and talk about that person. When one cannot have this courage to do that, they usually go behind and talk. They want to immediately call their friends and speak about this. Because they are not happy with what they have seen, but they have no courage to go and tell that person up. So they will call the third person, third friend, and comment about, and they will spend a lot of time over the phone. Watch yourself if you've been doing this. And then complain about this person. Very, very important. Then from 31 to 42, I think what we will do, next class we'll take it up and also proceed to the third chapter, third topic under this second chapter, the signs of wrong knowledge. There is so much emphasis on qualities and this behavior and conduct of ours. You may think, why is all this being said? It seems like KG class, you remember what we decided initially. Upanishads, we have heard. Gita, we have heard. And then we say, I'm not able to experience that, not able to reach there. Why? Because some of traces of some of these qualities still remain. They act like dirt, over the mirror, because of which reflection of that source is not very clear. For that clarity to come about, we must pay attention to our behavior, to our thinking process. And in between that, all these emotions that are attached. Why do these emotions come up? Why do these sentiments come up? Is it because I'm attached to the wrong thing? Where am I making a mistake? Where do I anchor myself? How do I fight and get rid of this? Is what we must pay attention to. And until this doesn't happen, until Atma Shuddhi or Antakarna Shuddhi, everything depends on Antakarna Shuddhi when we are talking of Vedanta. That's why we say go within, reflect, clean up. Without that, nothing can. So whichever way, either because Jnana is there, instructions are given, I have to simply follow that way, or then you have bhakti for your Guru or God. In that devotion, you're willing to wipe out whatever significant, insignificant things that are coming in the way. And this trust and Shraddha must be there in the Guru completely. Instead of saying that the Guru may have not understood properly, you wonder whether this can happen. Yes, this also happens. I do things to the best of my capacity, but my Guru doesn't see well enough. If that is your complaint, look deeper within yourself. Again, it has all got to go back within you. And until Antakarna Shuddhi is not there, this reflection of the source will be very, very dim. Once it's clear, it's clean and pure, you don't have to do anything, it will start shining on its own. Isha Darshanam, Atma Darshanam, isn't it? The same thing. God realization, self-realization. That is spotless, stainless, that is undisturbed by what is happening. That consciousness must reflect on its own. And the body and the mind and the emotions should not come in the way. This is the goal. This is the destination. So with That is why so much emphasis on good qualities, the right knowledge, wrong knowledge, how we interpret things according to our convenience. That is not allowed in Vedanta Vichar. There is only one way of interpretation, that is the way of the Shastra or the way of the Guru. No other way. With this, we shall end today's session. We'll meet again next Friday for the remaining part of this chapter and go on to the third topic, and the second Dashaka. Om Namaste Navidam Purnat Namudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.